from the weather, they are more sensitive because it's able to detect frequencies that cannot be around the resonance point. And there are two types, like I say, ground type and space type. Ground type, two perpendicular arms of many kilometers of light aligned to gravitational wave polarization. The frequency of the light, the frequency that can detect, around 10 and 1000 Hertz. But it has a lot of problems due to the ambient noises and masses that surround it. That's, well, it's the noises that affect this device. The thermical, the seismical noises, whatever. One hand detects the squeezing and the other detects the stretching, that I explained before. And the variations in arcs are about the radius of an electron. Noises in ground type interferometer. There are three types. Down frequencies, there are typicals. If there are seismic intermediate frequencies around 50 and 150 Hertz that are thermical type due to Brownian, the Brownian moment, due to the thermical, to the thermical noise, and high frequencies for frequencies higher than 150. There are fluctuations due to the spontaneous creations of photons by lasers. And these are the three groups. The noise is due to seismical, due to thermal, and due to radiation pressure. And now I explain the LIGO. LIGO is an interferometer, a Michelson interferometer with Fabry-Perot arms. There are two observatories, spaced 3000 kilometers. One has 4 kilometers arms and the other 2 kilometers. This is Fabry-Perot. There are two mirrors that makes the light bounces 50 times. I will explain later this. The advantages of two observatories. Well, we can dismiss seismic noises and instrumental errors. Why? Because if one of the observatories notes or notice seismical noise, the other will not notice this, because the distance is a noise, a local noise, and the instrumental errors is the same. Is a noise that only affects one of the observatories. It's practically impossible to have two observatories with the same problems and exactly the same noises. The power of the laser is 35 watts, and well, this is it's LIGO. This is the interferometer. We have a laser that sits on beam splitter. The beam splitter splits the laser on two ways, this one and this one, and here there are two mirrors. This mirror has totally reflects totally, and this one also, and these, the recycled mirrors, have no totally reflection. Then a photon is trapped here until he can escape over 50 times between the mirrors. Then this distance that it is 2.5 miles. Thanks to these mirrors, we can well, it's like an interferometer. Bigger interferometer because this distance, how the photons are reflected 50 times. This is like an interferometer, 50 times greater. Then, well, like an interferometer. Then later, the beam escapes and converges here to the photodetector. If the length, well, these lengths are equal, and when a gravitational wave incides on this detector, these lengths varies. This is shorter and this is larger, or the inverse. But this difference of longitudes, of lengths, makes possible to detect the amplitude, or to measure the amplitude of the gravitational waves. Well, other ground interferometers are these: the Virgo, that it's in Italy, the Geo 600, that it is in Germany, the Clio, that it's in Japan, Tama 300, that it's in Japan, the LCGT in Japan, and well, and now the LISA. LISA. It's a space-type interferometer that it's being developed by ESA and NASA. Consists in 3 spaceships spaced 5 million kilometers in an equilateral triangular form, like this. We have the orbit of the Earth, and LISA orbits the Sun at the same distance that Earth, and it has a equilateral form, and the distance between these spaceships are 5 million kilometers, and the distance between the Sun and the orbit of LISA are 150 million kilometers.